Content presented in Cheshire Corners is for educational and informational purposes only. Please consult a legal professional if you have any questions or concerns about the content of this disclaimer, this series, or the legal implications surrounding psychedelic substances in your jurisdiction.
We know from watching these people and seeing what their activities are, and particularly their activities as far as narcotics are concerned, marijuana, LSD, these are making no contribution to their own lives, to the lives of the community of San Francisco, nor to society as a whole. And certainly nobody should let their young children come into San Francisco unsupervised to become a part of a group such as that.
William Leonard Picard, a name shrouded in mystery, controversy, and the largest acid manufacturing case in history. Once a respected research associate in neurobiology at Harvard Medical School, a fellow in drug policy at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, and deputy director at UCLA's Drug Policy Analysis Program, Picard's career was on the rise until it took a very different turn.
I know you have great personal experience with lysergic acid. What do you think of it?
To do that in 2 minutes, eternity in an hour. It's almost impossible, of course, as all the patients say, to describe it. You can only say it isn't, it isn't, it isn't. Trying to tell people what it is. Well, of course, I don't know any of our friends, Sid, that have taken it but haven't said this one thing in common. Well, I never knew anything like that in the whole of my life. And 1 or 2 people have said to me, I've said it to myself, that's what death is going to be like. And oh, what fun it will be.
Authorities allege that Picard was responsible for producing up to 90% of the world's acid, a staggering claim, and one that would define his fate. While moving their secret acid lab across Kansas, Picard and associate Clyde Apperson were pulled over.
How often have you taken LSD?
About 4 times.
And where did you get it from?
Oh, I mean, if I was to say where I got it from, it's illegal and everything. It's silly to say that, so I'd rather not say that.
Don't you believe that this was a matter which you should have kept private?
But the thing is, that I was asked a question by a newspaper. And the decision was whether to tell a lie or to tell him the truth, I decided to tell him the truth. But I really didn't want to say anything, because if I'd had my decision, if I had it my way, I wouldn't have told anyone, because I'm not trying to spread the word about this. But the man from the newspaper is the man from the mass medium, I'll keep it a personal thing. If he does too, if he keeps it quiet. But he wanted to spread it, so it's his responsibility, for spreading it, not mine.
The DEA had a Kansas Highway Patrol car pull them over to not arouse suspicion. However, they immediately recognized something was wrong, and Picard fled into the woods on foot, where he eluded capture until the next day.
I found myself kneeling in a field in Kansas with a sheriff's revolver pressed against my forehead, stating he was going to blow my brains out for synthesizing LSD. Of course, I demurred and suggested that it was all a big mistake. Nevertheless, it was a frozen field, November 6th, 2020, a full moonlit night in Kansas, very cold, running through streams, just like in the movies, running through cold streams to elude chase dogs and bloodhounds and DEA teams and all the exciting happenings that occur near a major drug bust, particularly this one. Police helicopters at dawn filled the air. I found myself hiding in a cement a drain pipe, hoping to reduce the infrared signature, which was being recorded by sensors in the police helicopters. A 250 house manhunt. Everyone within 30 miles was alerted to be on the lookout for an elderly white-haired gentleman that appeared to be from out of the area. I wound up hiding in a farmhouse to elude the pursuers. A dog got onto me. Phone calls went around. I found myself running through a muddy field with a sheriff's car swishing behind me, thence to on my knees in the muddy field, as mentioned earlier, and captured. A transformative event, a loss of one's family, one's friends, one's job, one's future.
The laboratory had been stored near a renovated Atlas E missile silo near Wamego, Kansas. According to court testimony, Pickard's lab produced up to 1 kilogram of acid approximately every 5 weeks for short periods. Despite criticism for their methodology, the DEA contends that there was a 99.5% drop in the availability of acid in the U.S. in the 2 years following the arrest.
What we're thinking about is a peaceful planet. We're not thinking about anything else. We're not thinking about any kind of power. We're not thinking about any of those kind of struggles. We're not thinking about revolution or war or any of that. That's not what we want. Nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to hurt anybody. We would all like to be able to live an uncluttered life, a simple life, a good life, you know, and like think about moving the whole human race ahead a step or a few steps. And,
or half a step.
Yeah, or a half a step, or anything.
Or at least not
more positive.
At least not going around in circles like it is now.
Following the largest LSD bust in U.S. history, Pickard was sentenced to 2 life terms without parole. He would spend 20 years inside the maximum security U.S. penitentiary in Tucson, Arizona. Even behind bars, Pickard's mind stayed active. In 2015, he published The Rose of Paracelsus, a 656-page work blending fact and fiction, penned in pencil while in prison.
Keith Richard, how do you think this conviction is going to affect you and your music and the Rolling Stones?
I don't know, I just want to get on with it now that it's over. You know, I just get on with what I'm supposed to be doing instead of worrying about this, you know.
Do you think it will have any effect, though?
I don't know, I might get a song out of it.
What do you think about the way the case went?
I don't think anything. I didn't know what to expect, and what happened is what happened.
I don't think you can talk about it very much because we haven't had a chance to talk to the lawyers or anything.
Have you decided whether to appeal or not?
We haven't talked to them yet, so it's just really immaterial.
You know? What made you decide to come Mick Jagger to the case?
Submit Ronson again. I never miss a good case.
I talked to him and we decided from there, you know. I mean,
do you think...
Don't let's push, we've got plenty of room. Hang on a minute, this is ridiculous. Come on, let's...
On July 27, 2020, Leonard Pickard was granted compassionate release, 20 years into his sentence. The DEA claims Pickard's arrest led to a 99.5% drop in acid availability in the U.S., triggering what some call the acid drought. However, critics argue that many factors likely contributed. Was Leonard Pickard truly the architect of an underground psychedelic empire, or simply a scapegoat caught in the tides of a changing world? Thanks for watching. If you want more stories from the secret world of psychedelics, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below.